Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Savannah, and in today's video we are going to be taking a break from Valentine's Day and jump into year-round home decor. So let's get started. Okay, so for our first DIY or makeover, this one is kind of like a makeover. I got this tin sign back from Big Lots. It was probably at most $10, maybe $15. And I've had it for a while and the colors just don't go with my house anymore. So it's just been sitting in my guest room and I wanted to give it a makeover. So I started out by giving it a good coat of Waverly chalk paint. And then I go in with my chippy brush once it's dry and I start, distressing it. Now, you guys, I bought a tile from Dollar Tree, those little stick tiles. It's like a blue colored one, and it looks just like like it's raised, and I can't find it. It's somewhere in this house or in my craft room, but it would be really cute stuck on maybe like a piece of wood, and then painted like this. Sammy from Unicorn Dust Designs did a really cool thing with stick tiles. So if you're looking for something like this, there's definitely a way to do it with Dollar Tree items. But for 15 bucks, you can't, at most 15 bucks, you can't beat this makeover. I love how this turned out. So once I got like enough distressing on there, I took my sander and I started kind of like sanding on the raised edges, making that metal come out. I hate it in the middle because I felt like I put too much like antique wax on there, which is okay. I went back over it with some more white paint and then I sanded back over that again. And this is where I go back in with some more of that white Waverly chalk paint just to kind of like tone down some of those areas where I kind of went a little crazy with the distressing. But I'm going to show you guys the inspiration for this. I saw a picture on Pinterest and I immediately was like, oh my gosh, I can redo that sign. So here's the picture I saw, and then I went to like click on it to see like how much it was, and you guys, no thank you. So I remembered that I just had this sign sitting upstairs from when we moved, and I thought it would be so pretty to kind of just, draw inspiration from that piece and make this one my own. So, and I feel like stuff like this is super easy to thrift to, even if you don't want to buy it brand new. But I love how it turned out. This is the final product. I think it's so pretty and detailed. So let me know what you guys think. So moving on to our next decor piece, you're going to need one of these Dollar Tree home signs. This is part of their Valentine's, collection. Let's see what a collection. But I'm just starting by going over the home with white Waverly chalk paint. Again, this wood is kind of super pretty already, so I didn't mind some of that showing through. And then I took a smaller brush to get like the sides and inside the letters, and yeah. Once I had it all covered how I liked it, I'm taking my little chippy brush and I'm just distressing it. I think my light is haunted today in this video because it keeps changing colors. But I just distress it and then I just dry brush over with that same white Waverly chalk paint that I used, and just get it to a distressing that I like. And then I'm taking some scrap greenery. Now, I believe you guys know I keep like a scrap box of greenery, but you could use anything, any greenery you had. You could even use, like if you wanted to make this more for spring, you could use like some yellow flowers. But I'm just taking some hot glue and I'm going around the O and laying the greenery in O form, O formality. Then once I had like the O kind of like shaped out with the greenery, I'm just taking some of this little scrap greenery as well. I believe this is a 97-cent pick from Walmart that I just pulled a little thing off of. And I'm just taking the leaves and just trying to make the O just a little bit more fuller and to make it lay and look nice. And then I don't even know why I did this, but I kind of liked it. I just took the dry brush and I just kind of went a little bit around the wreath, I guess the O or the wreath O. And I love how this turned out. I think it's so cute and it can definitely be used year round. So for our next DIY, I am taking this little house. Now, I used this before in a previous video, but this is a different one, obviously. And I start by opening it and removing the blocks and setting those to the side, and then detaching the house from the block itself. Then I sanded the back down so there wasn't rough edges, but we're not going to use that side, so it really doesn't matter unless you're like, you want to cover it and finish it, which is completely fine. But I'm tracing that out on some scrapbook paper. Love this black and white scrapbook paper. And then I used way too much Mod Podge, but I Mod Podged that, and then I laid the scrapbook paper over that, and then I Mod Podged back over that and set that to the side to dry. Then I'm taking the farmer's market calendar and I'm cutting out that honey part. So I start by taking a lighter and I'm just trying to like burn the edges because I want this to look very old and worn. Just be careful if you're using a thumb lighter because I burnt myself again. And if you guys don't know, like a lot of you asked me in my last video what happened to my arm. I burnt it on a heater. So that I just need to stay away from fire. But anyways, I'm just going around the edges and then trying to like remove that because it'll like ash up, if that makes sense, and just trying to like knock those off. And then I did cut it down a little bit smaller and just continued burning the edges until I got it where I wanted. And then I Mod Podged that onto the house. Okay, guys, I just listened to my last voiceover and you can hear my little baby snoring. Listen. So sweet. Okay, moving on. So once that was dry, I took some of my antique Waverly wax and I'm just dry brushing over the whole thing. Like, don't be afraid. I wanted to go over the whole thing to give it a more antique, rustic look. And then I sand down the edges so that the house is, you know, the shape it should be. And then I did sand a little bit on the front side of it as well. And it kind of took a little bit off of that calendar. And I thought that looked so cute. So then I am going to hot glue the little square back on. And then I wanted to distress that as well. So I just took my my antique Waverly wax and just went over that and then sanded that down. And then put the little blocks back in, and that is it. And I think this is so cute for springtime or even year round on a 3-tiered tray. I love how this came out. Moving on to our last and most troublesome DIY of the day, I'm taking this Dollar Tree little canvas wood sign and I am giving it all a coat of the white Waverly chalk paint. And then I had to do, you guys know sometimes I only do one coat, but for this one I had to do 2 because the middle where it said home, that was coming through. So I would recommend 2. Once that was dry, I'm going in with my little chippy brush and I am just distressing around this. And again, no rhyme or reason, just playing around with it till I get it how I like it. Okay, This is my second go around, okay, you guys? You guys know I just got a Cricut and I'm trying to figure everything out. And I don't know if it was because like the texture of this thing, but I tried to just print out the words home and put them on there and it didn't work. So sometimes things happen for a reason, and I kind of love how this turned out a little bit more. But I weeded out the actual letters and left it almost as like a stencil and transfer that onto the sign. And then as far as the E, you just saw, I just stuck that in there. And then I am taking some black apple barrel paint and I am going over these letters. Now, I didn't want them to be like so harsh, so I took like my, I guess, scrap t-shirt that I use everything for and kind of wiped them down just a little bit, and then I went back over them and then wiped them down again. And then when I pulled it off, there was a little bit of bleeding, but I honestly liked how it looked. I felt like it looked almost like it was done on purpose. So I was okay with that. So I feel like, you know, all that struggle was for a reason. So then I'm kind of just sanding down the letters once they're dry, make sure they're dry, and, you know, making them look like this sign is a little bit more worn, and it was made this way. Now, I debated. I almost did purple flowers for springtime, but I loved how this sign came out and I wanted to make it to where I could use it year round. So I just took some greenery and I am forming another O and hot gluing those down. And then same as last time, I'm just taking a little bit more of that little Walmart scrap greenery and just filling in the spots that weren't as full or that I felt like needed a little bit more shape or fullness to them. Then once I had everything like I wanted, I just started sanding down on the raised part of this little sign because that was the darker portion before, and I liked how some of that darker stuff came out, and I absolutely love this sign. I will definitely have this in my house year round for sure. So let me know what you guys think of today's video. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.